Okay, here's my hot take, so don't come at me. But for the most part, motherhood is deeply unsatisfying. And we don't talk about it enough. And I'm not saying that because I dislike my role as mother. And yes, I know I chose to be a mom.
We need to make room for women to say these things out loud so they feel comfortable talking about their feelings instead of ashamed of feeling them. Because not sharing realistic stories of what motherhood looks like is what makes women feel like they're failing at it. They're experiencing what every other mother has faced, but they feel like they're doing it wrong because none of the women they talk to feel comfortable enough to tell them the truth. So mothers end up comparing themselves to a lie when they could be coming to the realization that they're not alone. And it makes women hate themselves. We've made motherhood look fun, so they feel bad about themselves when they're not having fun doing it. We all thought we'd be so great at so many things. We thought we'd be great moms and have great careers with great friends and great romance, and then we come to the realization that we can't be great at anything if we're going to get it all done, because the exhaustion bleeds into everything you do. You're not as fun as you thought you'd be. You're not as strict as you thought you'd be. You're not as organized and you're not as patient, but you're doing everything that matters for everyone who needs you. And there is something deeply unfulfilling about knowing that you're putting all of your energy into just trying to get through the day. Motherhood is plagued by constant feelings of guilt because the best moms worry about being the worst mothers. We worry that we're not providing enough, but if we work more, then we worry that we're not spending enough time with them. And it's not just that motherhood itself is hard. It's also the grief that comes from reconciling what you thought it would be against what it actually is. You thought you'd be super mom before you had your baby, and now you don't even feel mediocre. You thought your husband would be a better father, you thought your mother would be a better grandmother, and you thought you'd have more support. People tell women that they chose motherhood like that somehow disqualifies them from not feeling satisfied, but most women didn't choose the reality of motherhood. They chose the romanticized idea of it that they've been sold. The motherhood they're experiencing is not the motherhood they always dreamed of. And I know most women wouldn't trade their role as a mother for anything in the world, but that doesn't mean that they don't still struggle to adjust to the reality of what it looks like. Do you know how many women spend 2 hours cooking dinner when they're not even hungry just for a kid who used to like carrots to tell them they no longer like carrots and then throw their dish on the floor? Because I don't care what you think, you do not get to tell that woman that she doesn't have a right to be stressed out in that situation because she chose to be a mom. Everyone has an opinion on how you should parent better, but no one actually knows how to do it themselves. And there's this generalized idea about what motherhood should look like, but being a mother is not a one-size-fits-all experience. There are single moms, working moms, stay-at-home moms, widowed moms, moms with ADHD, anxiety, depression, or chronic illness, moms who grew up without a mother, moms who are struggling with addiction or working to maintain their recovery, and there are moms whose husbands are overseas. Motherhood is gonna look different for each one of those women, and sure, there are similarities in their struggles, but you can't tell any of them how to parent like it's easy if you don't know all the obstacles they're up against. Motherhood is fulfilling, but you are not always going to feel fulfilled, and you are not going to love every moment of raising your child. You're going to have a million really hard moments for every great one, but those great moments are going to be unlike anything you've ever felt. They'll somehow encompass every emotion you've ever experienced, and you will feel like your role is so big and yet your importance is so small, but all of that self-doubt that you feel will just melt away as you look at your child, see perfection, and feel as fulfilled as you do overwhelmed. And then your kids will go back to telling you they're bored, cry because you told them to brush their teeth, and probably hit you in the head with a shoe. And all that bliss you felt will just fade away. The good moments are not going to help you get through the bad moments, but they're going to somehow make them feel worth it. We are so afraid that we'll be accused of hating our children if we admit that we're struggling as a mother, but being frustrated by your kids does not mean you hate your children. It means you love them so much that you hate yourself for not having more emotional capacity to give them. We're trying to parent better than we were parented, functioning off too little sleep, worrying about bills we can't pay, healing ourselves, protecting our kids, breaking generational cycles, practicing gentle parenting, disciplining appropriately, trying to have friends, prioritizing our partner, and the truth is that none of us have any clue what the hell we're even doing. But the sooner we admit that we don't know what we're doing, the quicker we can acknowledge that we're on a journey that we're just not meant to have all the answers to. So there's only one thing you can know about motherhood for sure, and that's that you're not always going to love being a mom. But I promise that you will always love your kids.